Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Phileas Foggs, and welcome to another episode of Talking Bollocks. The intro music was a homage to the DOGE hires that everybody seems to be pissed off about. But before we get into that, let's introduce the panel today. We've got our regulars here. We've got Pete.
Cheers.
We've got Marco Polo.
Cheers.
And then, new to the panel today, retired Air Force and currently the owner and head brewer of Sabre Springs Wine and Meadery. We got Jay Jury in the house.
Cheers.
All right, so you guys ready for this?
I'm ready.
Are you ready for this?
I don't know if I want to be so close to this one.
So for those of you who don't know, Pete is a resident Democrat, so he's going to probably take a kicking today. So, but he'll keep on licking, I guess. I don't know. Is that the phrase? I don't know.
Yeah, it is now.
It is now. So anyway, Big Balls. Everyone's pissed off because this 19-year-old kid is creating havoc. Him and his crew have been hired by Elon Musk, and they're wreaking havoc in the books department of everything, basically. So we wanted to give him some homage. He's been doxxed already. Everybody knows who he is. We love you, Eddie. But what do you think? What do you think? Are you happy with this? Or?
I think it's illegal, but we'll see.
Well, hold on. Let's go back to the Obama administration, and they appointed unelected members of the public in the POE. Was it the
Valerie Jarrett?
Yeah. She was getting 180 grand. OPE, right? What's that? The office?
No, Obama actually combined two offices into one and made her head of it.
But there you go. So it's been done before. Hiring.
Every president has it.
Yeah, it's crazy that they're so pissed off about it right now, and you're like, it's illegal, goddammit. You know what I mean?
No,
Obama did it.
It's the access issue. I think it's not the whether you can.
It's all
bring
read
in
only
your
though.
own thing.
Valerie Jarrett had access to classified information at the highest levels. So did Uma Abedin, the assistant to Hillary Clinton.
That is one of the president has that authority to give them they can give them a security clearance, right?
That's right.
So that's what they did. So
Obama
gave her that, and Trump did the same thing with Elon Musk. Yeah.
That's right.
But
it's not actually Musk accessing the data. It's these two guys, right? And they were cleared by the Treasury Department, and they were given the necessary clearances.
Okay.
They had the background check. They went through the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
So let's give the Democrats and mainstream media and everybody else who's got a hard on for DOGE and Elon Musk right now. There is like a little bit of gray area with these kids, right? Because they're like teenagers. No, listen, hear me out, right? They're hackers. That's literally what they're good at. They're hackers, right? So there's a little bit there where you'd be like, well, should he really be looking at sensitive information? But I'm not against it. I'm 100% for it, in fact. Because the kid is saving American taxpayers $1 billion, with a B, $1 billion a day. Now let that sink in before you start bitching and moaning about something that Obama did and every other president before him has done. This is just way more efficient. Hence, DOGE is the efficiency part, right? So that's what I'm going to say on it, right? But there is that gray area that they are hackers. I mean, they're like, I bet you, they're all gamers. Elon Musk knows them from his gaming time.
Well, there shouldn't be any surprise because he said this before the election numerous times that they were going to set this up. DOGE.
He ran his whole campaign on draining the swamp, the the government efficiency. He ran his whole campaign on it. Why are people like
promises
pissed?
kept.
Promises made, promises kept, bitches. So
I think that $1 billion is Bollocks.
you think so?
I mean it's they're quoting stuff that one has not been verified, any of it, and two, they haven't actually saved the money. They're just pointing out they're trying to bring out red herrings.
Well, they're preventing it from being spent. There's a lot of stuff they're like, fuck, we're not sending that. You know, fucking.
Well, they've frozen.
That's what I mean.
They're frozen, and
but I would. You know what I would do? I would stop. I would cease every single penny to every single country, all foreign aid. I would just end it right now, freeze it. I would freeze it right now, And then I would look at bona fide cases, humanitarian issues that need to be helped, right? And then set up a very strict and transparent accounting procedure of what we sent and then how it gets used on the other end. Now, yeah, that's going to cost a little bit of money to set up people to do that. But it's going to save us a shit ton more money, though. It's just, it's crazy.
Last night, they interviewed Marco Rubio, and he addressed some of those issues and said, "Look, we've frozen this spending until we have a good look." And basically,
What I said, yeah.
You know, obviously, we're going to prioritize stuff in the humanitarian aid and that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
that's going to have priority, but yeah.
I mean, there's countries out there that really need help.
The problem I have, not with whether they find stuff, what they found, how much money they found, the fact that the purse strings are attached to the Congress, not to the executive branch. And I think the executive branch is overreaching. I think, you know, and Congress is abdicating.
Why don't we just eliminate Congress?
No, they're not doing their jobs. They're going, okay, Donald, as opposed to doing the job of controlling the money is Congress's job, not the executive branch. That's what I think.
Yeah, I would clarify that. I would say that allocating the money is Congress's job. Controlling the money is definitely the executive branch's duty.
That makes more sense. Yeah.
So if the Congress appropriates the funds.
That's right.
And then the executive branch executes that. So he can have some control over how it's executed.
I don't think that's true. I think that what I've been reading saying he does not. He has to act on the things that the Congress passes. In other words, he can't tie up the purse strings if it's been allocated for certain things. And I think that's what the courts will eventually.
If it's found that it's corrupt, and like, you know, fucking transgender mice is corruption, right? Well, money laundering, and at every level it's corrupt.
Again, that goes through Congress and the judicial branch. Again, there are 3 branches of government. It's not one branch, I can do anything and then you guys just have to go along. It's 3 branches of government. And I think that's where the checks and balances need to come from. Yeah. And I think they will.
Well, they will. I think, due process, right?
Due process.
I mean, a lot of this, we all know this. 90% of the people out there, I mean, except the Democrats, I guess, right? We all know this is a lot of smoke and mirrors, right? I mean, there's a lot of Trump, like, pump in the air and everything
he'll say anything.
And half of it's just like not going to get done. I mean, I really believe that. I've said it before. But we'll see. We'll see. I hope I'm wrong. I hope everything he does gets done because it's all for the betterment of America and the American people.
I have no problem.
And me
bringing the laundry out and
for
shaking
sure.
it out and see.
I mean, some of this stuff we're
hearing. But that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And
Democrats have a definite problem with it.
They have a problem with the process.
Both parties they own some responsibility for how this money has been.
Oh, it's not. It's definitely not just the Biden.
But the right thing to do is to clean it up and making sure that what we do and be true stewards of the taxpayers' dollars and not just giving stuff away.
How about we all don't pay our taxes this year? How does that sound?
I've tried that. It doesn't work out.
Yeah, it doesn't work out. Well. So anyway, we're done on.
That's all. I got nothing else to say. Yeah.
So we're not done on Trump because what I want to talk about. I'm bookmarked. No, I'm not bookmarked. I'm earmarked. Well, what am I? Bookend. I'm book-ended. I don't think that's a word. Well, so it didn't even work.
We're both the bookends.
No, but I'm talking about I'm book-ended by 2 ex-Air Force.
Yeah.
And I'm ex-Army.
Well, that explains a lot.
Well, this is going to explain a lot more. Because Pete is a 40-year veteran of the arts department. So that's going to explain a lot. Yeah. But Pete, you were around. I mean, you would have been eligible for the draft, the Vietnam draft. How come you're not in the military? Were you a draft dodger?
I was in the draft lottery days. I was picked 21, my birthday, and I should have gone third week in January.
Oh, you were set to go then. Cool.
1970, and they called off the draft the first week. I missed it by 2
Oh,
weeks.
wow, you got lucky.
Wow.
Well, I mean, did you want to go, or by then, I mean, were you like...
No, it was not a popular war.
Yeah, no, of course it
Yes,
wasn't. No,
I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, given your where you
particularly at the end of the war, you know. as
right,
it-
right.
yeah.
No, it got real sour at the end.
Yeah. So
No, you guys,
I was happy I did not have
have
to
to
serve.
go. Yeah.
But you know, I would have.
Yeah, you were gone. Yeah, all right. So you weren't a draft dodger. Just wanted to clear that up. But the reason I bring up the Air Force guys is because I want to mention the Potomac disaster, right? And Trump, I mean, like an hour or so after the crash, Trump was hammering on about DEI hires. And everyone was assuming, because of the shortage of the air traffic controllers, everyone was thinking DEI on the thing. Trump actually already knew what he was talking about. And it came out, it's now out there. But I think the powers that be kind of talked him down on that in the fact that it wouldn't have been appropriate to try and politicize the death of 67 people, right? And that would have been a horrible move for anybody. You know, Democrats would have done it. But, you know,
they did. Did you hear Hillary Clinton's what she said yesterday?
I don't listen to her, dude. I thought she was dead.
She said it was Trump's fault.
It was Trump's fault, yeah.
Both accidents.
But he said he knew straight away, and within an hour or so, maybe a couple of hours, he was going DEI has the blame, right? And it just got hushed down, right? And now they're saying, and you brought this to the table, right? That
The person that was piloting the helicopter was a female pilot that was hired by the Biden administration to basically meet and greet dignitaries in the White House.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
She was on flight status, and so in order, you have to have so many hours of flight status, flight time every month in order to maintain your flight status in the military. And so that's what she was doing. It was just a training mission. But she had less than 500 hours flying time in a helicopter, so there's no way. I mean,
so she shouldn't have been. She shouldn't have been. She's not competent flying, right? She shouldn't have been flying at night.
Yeah.
She shouldn't have been flying dark,
Right.
if in fact she was, right? And she shouldn't have been flying in one of the most hectic airspaces in the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's insane.
And there was a competent pilot on board, but he was
getting a blowjob in the back.
Well, I don't know, but
There's 4 on the 3. There was 3 on
That's
3.
the Navy, not the Air Force.
that would be
Because the rest are all guys.
well, it was an Army helicopter, so you know.
So she was like 100 feet above her ceiling or something, right? I mean, they were saying that
she should have been at like 1,400 feet, and she was at like 400 or 500 feet.
Yeah. Well,
So-
I mean, when I saw the videos, because I was watching it basically live as they put it out, and it really looked like that helicopter just went like this into the plane. It looked like it would, and I still kind of I don't really believe what I'm being spoon-fed, right? And it could still have been, and they're just kind of covering up, right? I don't know how much, and that definitely comes on the conspiracy side, and we try not to go down that road too much.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
you know, the tower did ask her if
Is that a 15?
the tower did ask if they had the plane in sight.
And they
the
said
problem
yes.
was they said yes. The problem was there was another plane that was further out, and that's maybe the plane
different.
that they.
That's
think
right. So I don't think it's
I
fair
can't
to
imagine
dump
her.
the whole thing on her.
On her, yeah,
because
yeah.
there was a DEI component with the understaffing of the control tower.
There is, yeah.
So there was a problem at the control tower, what you just mentioned, where they said, "Do you have the plane in sight?" When they should have said, "Do you have the plane at your 5 o'clock in
Yeah,
sight?"
right.
So they said, "Yeah, we see a plane," but they didn't know
That
which
was
plane
taking
they
off
were.
the other direction, right? Yeah.
Right. The control
right.
tower, for whatever reason, saw the helicopter at 200 feet. It was actually at 300 feet.
Yeah.
So they didn't know what they were doing there.
Hey, we've all seen Pushing 10. There's fucking lights everywhere on the screen.
And
You
they
know?
should have redirected them to the proper elevation, because I've seen several.
Or do a U-turn. Get the
Well,
fuck out of the flight
I've seen
path.
several. You know, they talked to pilots that are, very experienced helicopter pilots,
Yeah.
and there's a number of.
Were you going to
errors.
say helicopter pilots? Didn't sound like that, right?
One more thing, there was supposed to be 2 pilots. At night,
Yeah.
in a crowded area, there should have been 2 pilots. There was
Yeah.
only one, so they were asking her to do too much.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, the other person
Maybe,
is just a
what
warning.
was the date? Maybe it was the end of the month that she had to get her hours in. It's like cops giving tickets out on the 31st.
Well,
you know what I mean?
she was tasked. I mean, the training was for removing people from Washington, right? From these, I mean,
Right.
that was
Yeah.
their training
Their mission.
for their mission
Right.
was, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the mission. But it's an awfully busy airport, understaffed airport.
So it was a
Questionable
snafu. I
why
wouldn't
she
should
Yeah,
have
should've
put
it
it on.
wasn't.
Yeah, it was a lot of like working parts right there.
Yeah,
You know? Anyway,
absolutely.
And
you know,
whether they
it's
use
such
it
a.
night vision or not,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
so.
Yeah, who knows?
I mean, there's
It's
67
sad,
people don't
yeah.
have lost a member of their family, so
Well, and I
it's
mean,
not
it's
a good thing.
It's just a tragedy all
Yeah,
the way around.
it was a tragedy.
All right, moving on. All right, we're moving on. We got a lot of drinks in front of us. You might have noticed today. Jay kindly brought some of his samples. Some of the best mead. We got 7 meaderies in San Diego, right?
8.
8.
Yeah,
So it's someone newer than you.
Yeah.
Wow, it's growing. 8 meaderies in San Diego. That's pretty good, and it is very sweet. No pun intended, right? So we're tasting some of his meads, and this one's the triple berry, right?
yeah. Bjorn's Basque.
Beyond's best. So obviously mead is Viking kind of themed. All of his names are. Oh, that one. I love that one.
That's the no water blueberry. So this one has blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries, and this one is just straight blueberries with no water, just pressed blueberries with blueberry blossom honey.
I think the
Both
best
days,
mead in
different.
San Diego for sure, and that's out of 8 different meaderies. Although I haven't tried the new guys. Who are they?
Blue honey.
Blue Honey.
Yeah, out in Ramona.
Have you tried them?
Small. No, I
Not
haven't
yet.
tried them yet.
It's out of Ramona.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
And this
Good
is
for
probably
them.
the only thing we're all going to agree on today. So, cheers to the meat.
Yeah.
There's been some
No,
overlap.
I know.
We do these. We record these videos kind of early in the morning, so I kind of like a couple of Bloody Marys to get me going. But I've never been shy of double fisting, so. And talk about double fisting.
Don't look at me when you say that.
and I shouldn't say it about Karoline Leavitt, who is. Do you not like her?
She's good looking.
She's not only good looking, she's incredibly good at her job so far.
She's sharp. She's quick.
She is sharp.
I've
She
never
has-
seen her
she is
stutter
very
or
sharp.
stumble. If she doesn't know the answer, she fucking owns it. She's like, I'll get that information for you. And that's what you want, right? You don't want to get a bunch of smoke blown up your ass, you know?
Right.
Tell me you don't know. Tell me you'll find out. And then follow up. Hopefully she's following up. I'm sure she is. She looks really like, she's strong and confident, you know?
That's the word I was going to say.
And
confident.
That last one we had, I could say so many things about her. I'm not going to.
Is she almost as good as KJP?
Well,
No, I'm saying if you can be Trump's press secretary,
You're
You've got
good.
chops.
You're
You're
good.
good.
Yeah.
You've
yeah.
got it.
especially
good.
that good.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, it's obvious she sits in and listens to President Trump, whereas the previous administration, Biden never really met with the staff. He never really. So
Yeah.
she was just going off of notes that she was provided.
But she
So
didn't have them
really
off the
didn't
tape.
have the face to face, you know.
I hated that woman.
So yeah, well, I mean, she did the best she could with the information she had. They just didn't give her the right information, you know, and so.
You liked
but-
her?
No, she was terrible.
Not saying anything. No, I don't think she was terrible.
She was terrible.
You thought she was good at her job?
I thought she was, yes. I thought she
Really?
did.
Wow.
I thought the administration, lost steam, particularly.
Hung her out to
last
dry,
year.
maybe?
Yes, I think
I
so.
think you hit the nail on the head.
Biden wound down, and she had to keep working, and I think
Yeah.
the last 6 months.
And she's like
We're-
in front of the troops,
We're
right? She's
very
like-
hard. Yeah.
She was better than Circleback Saki, but
Yeah.
but she still wasn't very good.
Anyway, massive kudos to Karoline Leavitt, man. She's not only good on the eye, but she's doing an incredible job. That's what I think, and I think that's pretty. Democrats aside, that's like a general consensus in the nation, right? You know what I mean?
Well, the other thing too is it's hard to keep up with Trump.
Oh yeah.
He is an open.
He's a
book.
fucking angina.
There's
What's it?
There's no telling what's
What
going
am I trying to say here? I'm still thinking of Karoline Leavitt. I'm trying to say vagina.
there is no president that is as transparent as Trump. You never have.
Well,
to
you know,
worry about
his X account basically makes that fucking happen.
He'll tell you exactly what he thinks.
It's great though. It's. I mean, people think it. I mean, yeah, there's going to be some appropriate things said once in a while,
But
right?
see, that actually makes her job easier because she knows exactly where he's at.
She's a perfect
There's
fit
no
for
question.
him.
Yeah.
She's a perfect fit for him. I think she's great for the office.
Well, she
I
doesn't
love-
have to.
I actually think she's awesome. I love
She
her.
doesn't have to apologize for things that come out of his mouth because, you know, they just come out. That's it. That's his style.
No, you know what she does instead of
But
apologizing?
you know what
She
they-
just fucking owns it.
Yeah.
She's like, hey,
He
that's
said
our
it.
president.
But that is
Yeah.
one.
And
of
look
the
what
things-
he's doing.
That's one of the things that people like about Trump.
Yeah.
Is they like
Oh
that.
no, there's obviously
He's not a
a
polished
huge,
politician.
a huge portion of the country who does like that.
Yeah.
Ah, man.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. I love it. What else has he been doing? The Trump tariff thing was a thing for half a second, right?
Yeah, right.
Did you survive it?
As
As a business owner?
Yeah,
What's
exactly.
up?
The one day, did you survive the one day?
Oh, man, I mean, like Colombia was off. Fuck this, and Mexico and Canada were
but look
About 4 hours later, they're all like giving them a blowjob. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, we'll put 10,000 troops on the border and blah. Oh, we'll do everything you want. We'll even fly a plane up there and bring our own guys home. You know what I mean? It was crazy, you know. But that's what respect gets you.
Well, and I mean,
Global respect right now for America.
that's. I mean, like him or hate him, you have to respect the fact that this guy can have 50 different projects going on all at the same time, and he knows what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
And he's directing all these people, and he's got stuff going. He is a mover and a shaker.
He really is. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He gets shit done. You know what I
He
mean?
does. Yeah.
I think it was brilliant that he did it on both borders. Because last time around,
Yeah.
he only did it on Mexico.
Right.
And the Democrats said, oh, he's against brown people. He's so racist.
Right.
So he said, no, I'm doing it on both borders this
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
What
Well,
are you
actually,
gonna say?
we've talked about it in
hates
the
French
last.
people.
We talked about it in the last show. The Canadian border is a soft spot. It's not as weak as the southern border, but that northern border is definitely a soft
But
spot.
you know,
It's growing,
they
yeah.
ran the numbers in the past 12 months. There were 627 known tariffs that come across the southern border, and over 1,200 that came across the northern border.
Really?
That's
Yeah.
why-
Well, plus, you don't have to be a genius to realize that if you seal this up, they're going to come
Yes.
from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at the Canadian border. Where's the easier place to cross?
And,
right?
and let's be
You know,
realistic.
Montana's this long. and
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
no
During winter or
fence.
summer.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be
nothing but-
realistic about it, right? That you're always going to have people coming into the country illegally. You're not going to stop it. But having a wide open border made it so much easier. And like you said, the largest, what was it? The largest exodus of people. What
Oh,
was
yeah,
it?
yeah,
You
yeah.
said
It was the
worldwide.
largest migration outside of war that
the world has
the
ever
world
seen.
has ever seen.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
It's crazy, man.
But you know what's interesting is Germany is also deporting lots of people right now.
Oh yeah, Europe's getting fed up.
Yeah, Europe is fed up. They're sending people back.
Poland, he's basically all at war against the Muslims,
Yeah.
and everyone's going to follow because they're a bunch of pussies, man. These leaders, right? They're not like Trump. Trump's just like boom, and then everyone follows. These European leaders are following Trump's lead.
Yeah.
Well, while he isn't specifically, and Elon Musk is the same. They both have issues with the Muslims. They're just not addressing it directly, right?
Right.
But I guarantee you, they both have a serious eye on the Muslim issue in America. But in Europe, it's way more developed.
Well, Hungary in Europe, Hungary was the only country that locked their borders down. They said nobody.
Yeah.
We're not allowing anybody in.
Yeah, Poland is deporting all the Muslims.
Well, that's because, I mean, Hungary said, okay, they part of the EU, you know, come in, you can go wherever you want. And then the other countries are going, no, you can't leave Hungary. And they're going, well, screw that. We're not going to be stuck with
Right.
everybody entering our
They
country.
locked it down.
And I'm an immigrant, right? I have no problem with immigrants whatsoever, of any kind. But when you come to a country and it's given you everything that you didn't have in your country, right? And you won't assimilate, even partly, right? You're still going to keep your heritage, right?
Right,
You're still a proud Englishman, right?
Right.
Although there's not much to be proud of in England right now, to be honest. It's a fucking Muslim state, in my opinion.
Are
Right?
you going to learn English? That's
Exactly. Yeah.
Learn how to
I'm
speak.
still taking English classes, American English, right? But I have no problem if they assimilate. But what they do is they want to come here and then set up their own bullshit here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the guys walking to the American border waving their flags. I'm like, well, hold on a minute. You're fucking leaving that country because you're persecuted. Why are you waving that flag and singing their national anthem? Fucking wave the American flag. That's the country you're asking for asylum from. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So I really have an issue with people who don't or refuse. I mean, like, everything should be in English in this country. I don't give a shit about DEI and everything else. If you come here, learn English. And I will keep trying.
That's the way it is in most other countries.
Yeah, of course it is. You know what I mean? So people think the Muslim thing isn't a big deal in America, right? Minnesota, right, one of the Tri-Cities, right? Minnesota has almost 2,000. Minnesota has 2,000. Fuck it up. Minnesota. I'm not good with numbers. Evidently. I'm not good with English.
Yeah,
You know
two
what I mean?
what?
I'm just useless. I'm a good DEI hire though.
Get that dick out of your mouth. You might be able to say something.
So Minnesota has almost 200,000 Muslims living there.
Yeah.
And they're the first city in America that has allowed the broadcasting throughout the whole city of the call to prayer, the Islamic call to prayer. You've all heard it in the movies and stuff, right?
I know you're new here, but Minnesota's a state. Not a
Oh
state.
man, I got this whole fucking bit wrong. What's the Minneapolis? Minneapolis. So scratch all of that. Minneapolis. Yes, you're right. Yeah, one of the Tri-Cities. That was the clue for you guys.
Yes, right.
But yeah, 200,000 Muslims live there. They fucking took
Oh,
over
I
the
bet it's
city.
more
man.
than that.
Yeah, well, we're not even talking about undocumented. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's why they voted
Ilhan
Democrat
Omar?
for the-
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's gonna get deported.
I hope so.
She's gonna get deported. She's poking the bear on purpose. I think. You know what I mean?
Well, she committed immigration fraud.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's giving them advice how to avoid getting.
No, but she herself did.
Well, what did she do?
She
I should know this. I probably do.
She married her brother.
Right. She married her brother. That's what I was just getting ready to say. You need to disconnect her from her brother.
Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I mean, on paper.
Siamese
I mean,
twins or
who knows whether it was on paper or not? But I mean, just on paper or not.
That's crazy, man. I didn't know that. I'll have to look into that and
No,
see what
I
that's all about. Yeah.
Well, it was either
She's
that
going to
or
get
goat,
deported,
man.
though. Yeah.
They
We don't
call that
recognize
too.
goats. They probably do in Minneapolis, though. Who is your spouse? Meh. She's
You.
down here, Your Honor. You.
It's a horny goat.
So while we're joking on about immigrants and protests, right, I've got to say this because the Mexicans are like up in arms, and I don't really understand why they're up in arms. And I'm an immigrant, right? On this panel, I'm the only one who could probably relate to being an immigrant, right? But anyway, so I can't take Mexican protests seriously because every time I watch a Mexican protest,
It's a party.
it's like a mariachi band and a tamale stand away from a block party, dude. You know?
Yeah, party.
It's like crazy. They're all dancing and laughing and shit. They're like, what are we here for? I don't know. Where's the fucking tamales? Why isn't the band playing yet? You know what I mean? So it's really hard for me to take them seriously. But they're out in numbers. You got to give them credit. Someone's organizing them.
Someone organized it.
Yeah. So
Well-
they're all over. Arizona's getting nailed right now. Well, we know who's organizing it. You know what I mean?
They're actually getting paid
Yeah.
by the California.
No wonder they're dancing and happy in the streets. You know what I mean?
Hey, you get paid to go to a party?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Democratic Party in California is paying them.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Yours is it's catchy.
Yeah. It's this fucking meat, dude. It's not. What is this, like 14% or something? 11.4. Knew there was a 4 in there.
I don't understand it either. And my grandfather immigrated from Mexico. So my father's Mexican American, my mom's, European. But how do you not be in a country legally and then protest that they want to enforce their laws and then wave around Mexican flags?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I would be waving around American flags if I
Yeah.
wanted to stay here. Why? I don't get it.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is they were interviewing these people, and they said, you know, a lot of us came here the same way. They didn't say illegally, but they said a lot of us got here the same way. And stop calling us criminals. Well,
by definition, you are.
When you cross the border illegally, that is a federal crime.
I've said it. I've said it before. Their first
You
act
are
on
criminal.
American soil is to break the law.
Yeah,
That's
the
just a
first
fact.
act.
Yeah.
The first act is they committed a
But
felony.
most of these guys protesting, because you got to be pretty fucking dumb to go to a ICE protest when you're an illegal. So I think these are all second generations. They're all born here. These are all citizens. But what you have to realize, you know, we're going after people who are here illegally. We're not going after you and your dad and your mom and shit. You know what I mean?
You know,
Now that might be some kind of interlope right there, you know, and it might happen to a few collateral damage maybe. But I want the hardened criminals out of the country. You know what I mean?
You know, like you know, my spouse, she came here, she immigrated here, and you know, she did it legally, and you know, what really pisses her off is she came here
When you tickle her balls.
she couldn't get a green card or anything. She couldn't even work. So she was here for like 3 years before she was able to even have a job.
She followed the law.
She followed the law. And these guys are coming across. These guys are coming across the border illegally, and in 2 days they're working.
Oh yeah.
And you know, the government's giving them
Grants and shit.
certificates to fly wherever they want to fly, and they're putting them up
Not anymore.
in 5-star hotels, and but that's what was going on.
Yeah.
And so when you have somebody that paid the price to do it legally.
Yeah.
And then that's what really kind of gets.
Oh yeah, my
under your
Mexican
skin.
friends who you know wound up here legally one way or another, they're the most vocal against illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
Well, again,
And I'm surprised as a counter, the Republicans haven't organized a bunch of Mexicans to walk with American flags and pro-Trump
I mean,
pro-Trump
you know,
flags.
they
You know
don't-
what I mean?
They don't have to. In that, they got the vote from
Yeah.
the Mexican American.
And as long as the
I
Democrats
have to say,
stand on
yeah.
that platform, they're going to fail.
Well, you know what those fucking dirty bastards were doing? The Democrats, right? They were
You
all
call me a dirty bastard.
in a roundabout way.
This tactic was pissing me off. They're out on the streets, right?
Yeah.
Basically, with what they were saying, trying to incite violence, calling people to bring it to the streets, and all of them were doing interviews on the streets.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, everyone could see through that shit, right?
Yeah.
And second of all, come on, man, you're trying to incite violence.
Right.
If this was
And
England,
insurrection.
they'd already be in
Right.
jail just for posting
If it
shit
was
on
true-
Twitter.
if it was
you
true,
know?
No,
they would
no.
have already said this is an
No,
insurrection. arrest
It's
them.
a peaceful protest, just like January 6th.
Or
Yeah.
it's a peaceful protest like in Portland and Seattle where
Yeah,
they burned all the
I-
government buildings
no,
down.
But they said it's war. Get out there and fight.
Yeah. We are at war was one
We
of
are
the
at war.
Yeah.
We need to shut this city down.
Yeah.
Now, how is that not,
Could have been a quote from January 6th, right there.
They basically copy everything the Republicans do. So it probably is everything.
No, I'm just saying, let's mitigate this a little bit about the wackos on both sides.
There are. There's way more on the Democrats.
Your side, I know.
Yeah.
the good thing is there's a lot more weapons on the Republican side.
And training and
Yeah.
experience.
And this is how it should be settled.
Yes.
That's right. I agree.
Peaceful conversation.
This is a peaceful protest.
Yeah. I'm drinking Bloody Marys instead of mead. Actually, my mead glass is empty, so.
And be more respectful of Pete next time. Call him ODB instead of DB.
Some bitches. See what I have to put up with? This bullshit I have to put up with.
I knew this.
Bollocks.
I knew this show was going to be.
Bullocks. This is fucking bullocks.
I knew this show was going to be a bash on Pete show. So. All right, so we basically covered a lot of the Trump issues. You got anything for us, Pete?
Did you hear about the Super Bowl ad that,
Oh,
that
cool.
Google had
Super
to
Bowl.
change? So Google.
So it was a Google ad.
Google produced the ad using their AI, right? about Gouda cheese for, I think, Wisconsin cheesemakers.
Oh, yeah.
And their ad said, yeah, and Gouda cheese is the, 50 to 60% of people refer, it's the #1 cheese in the world.
What?
And Google's AI pulled this up from some strange source that they found this statement. This is the trouble with AI.
The Gouda Cheese Association.
The Gouda Cheese Association. Right. And they produced this ad, and it had that line in it. And, I'm sorry, cheddar, mozzarella, Parmesan. I think that order before you get into those other cheeses. But they actually produced an ad. No one checked it, and then someone caught it. And so they re-edit. It was on YouTube. You could have hear the original ad. So they had to change it. But it's the perils of AI.
Well, it's like anything. If I ask you to do a synopsis of like something, it's up to me to actually check that, right?
Well,
see if it's right. Because I know your news sources are never right.
Well, that's the Trump theory. I can say any bollocks I want to say, and it's up to you to check it to tell me if I'm. The trouble is, it takes much longer to check it than it does for someone to come out of your mouth.
Yeah. Well, see, so AI, I really resisted AI. My earlier experiences with AI were complete shambles, right?
Yeah.
Bollocks, for want of a better word. I mean, I would type in something or I would say something, and it would be completely weird. I'm like, what the hell is this? I'm like, AI is bullshit. It'll never be, But it's just come along so quickly. And now I'm like fascinated by it, and I'm totally on board with it. You know what I mean? So I love it. I use Grok as on the X platform.
Yeah.
Grok is their kind of big AI push, and I love it. I use it for a ton of stuff.
Well, again, all the new
Fun stuff. I'm not
all the
using it
new
for business.
CPUs now have an AI module into them. That's and that's really it's changing the game.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, we make fun of it's done incredible stupid things that have happened through AI, but it is.
So it's becoming more human-like, you're saying?
It is, yeah.
Well, you got to be careful, like looking at videos online, because Facebook, Twitter, YouTube.
You can't believe anything, man.
No, because half of it's AI generated.
Well,
and it's done well.
It's done very well.
Well, it's like a lot of a lot of the skits on television and stuff. They do comic things where they substitute, Ronald Reagan saying whatever you want, with his voice, his face, his,
What were those a while ago? Deep fakes.
Yeah,
deep
fakes.
fakes.
Deep fakes.
I mean, to be honest, the Democratic Party's lived in an AI state for about 40, 50 years, right? Nothing's true.
And the intelligence was always artificial.
Oh, we're going back to Bollocks now.
But speaking of Super Bowl ads,
and cheese.
so there's also another Super Bowl ad that's been pulled. State Farm pulled their ad after the LA fires. Because obviously
they pulled the ad because they pulled their policies.
Correct.
Right,
They pulled the policies, and then it's like State Farm, like a good neighbor.
Yeah.
Evidently, we're not there.
Apparently we're not your good neighbor. Yes. Not if you live on a canyon.
Like a good neighbor, we leave you screwed.
Yes.
That was a good trick that the state of California pulled off, because really they are at fault.
Yeah.
Because they prohibited insurance companies from charging or from using real replacement costs to figure out their policy costs.
Yeah.
So insurance companies weren't allowed to cover their costs, so they had to close up shop.
Yeah, you said that last week.
It's California.
Yeah. It's a combination. The insurance companies are here. I can't stand insurance companies. But you had brought that out to me, and I looked it up, and it was spot on. That it was kind of mandated on them because they were kind of time lapsed, right? You're like, you got basically you can't evolve with the economy and inflation and everything else, right? Yeah.
That's like the state coming in here saying, if
you can't put your beer prices up.
I haven't I
haven't in years.
Well, that's why you got to work so hard.
Well, speaking of fires, Trump has solved it. He released 2.2 billion gallons from the 2 federal reservoirs in California,
which you said didn't even exist. This water supply,
No,
that's bullshit.
No, the water supply exists. The problem is that it only goes to the Central Valley farmers, and they're going, shit, we're saving that for the summer drought. He made a political statement. He delivered it. It's sitting on there. He refilled too
Promises
late.
made, promises kept.
Too late.
But you know, the farmers have been screwed by the state of California for a long time, because the state of California has been gradually taking out dams and lakes, and this is one of Trump's points, is they don't manage their forests, they don't take out all the underbrush and get rid of it. I spent 30 years in Alaska. We spend millions and millions of dollars every summer
Cleaning your driveway.
cleaning the forest bed and getting rid of all the dead trees and those things, so that we won't have a fire that burns like the out of control. And they've just let it go, and then they took away all these reservoirs that was holding water.
In case it happened.
That's been just dumping out to the, I work for a water utility. They only contain about 16 to 17% of the water of the rain and the snow runoff. The rest of it goes straight to the ocean. And then they complain the water's rising because of global warming. Yet we keep taking out all these reservoirs and dams that have been holding this water, and then they're releasing it out, trillions and trillions of gallons every year.
It is a huge amount.
Goes right out to the ocean.
Yeah, well,
And then they're buying it from Colorado.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are we buying water from Colorado when we
and
throwing all of our own
they
water
also-
in the ocean?
They also get it from Washington and Oregon.
there's no place to hold it. I grew up in Oregon, and
Build a new reservoir.
for years the Forest Service rule was to put out the fires as quickly as they can,
Yeah.
and
It's generally good practice with a fire, Bill,
Well, not with what he's getting to.
No.
No,
What
it's
happened?
actually not.
What happened is, nature solved this problem.
Right.
Nature
Or
knows
like
how.
a controlled burn type thing.
Well, no, you let the forest burn when it's not in populated areas,
Yeah.
and because that's the natural way that forests renew themselves and whatnot.
Right.
And you let them burn. The problem is that things, when you get into like logging, Oregon, they for a century they clear cut, right? So they clear cut and they say, well, we're going to replant, and they do these patches, but the forest becomes monotone. It's one type of tree, and so now what? Bark beetle, all those things go, okay, well, I can just go from tree to tree to tree. It's not letting the forest grow naturally like it should or could. And man thinks they're outsmarting the forest, Mother Nature, and in a lot of senses they don't.
I lived in Germany for 3 years, and they had very strong forest management program. Have for many, many years.
Any competent
And
government would.
They do a very good job. They don't have these fires that we have.
All the fires in LA was not in forest land. There was no forest land
Well, that's what
involved.
started it.
It's not in forest. It's in the scrub.
No, the underbrush that hasn't been cleaned in
It's not in
10 years.
That's not forest land.
That's where it started.
Well, it's not forest land though, yeah. But I mean, you can go all through San Diego right here. There's places that are just tinder boxes waiting to happen.
Yeah, no,
I'm like, why aren't they not
that's-
cleaning
that's
this?
right.
And then trash blows in there.
Yep.
Our streets aren't that much
Yes.
trash on our streets,
Yeah.
but it blows places and,
then
it ends up in all
Brian's
these
got a
areas.
little camp and he's got his stove down
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
and he's
yeah.
cooking meth or
And then
whatever. And
yeah.
boom.
I kick my stove over
I know.
because I'm.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what comes of the investigations of the fires. all
Eden
kinds of
Fire,
stuff.
they've already, the power companies
The
are
power
okay,
company, they did.
yeah.
Well, there's video. I mean,
Yeah.
it was dark, and then all of a sudden there's a spark, and now all of a sudden there's a fire.
15 minutes ago, didn't we just say we can't trust video?
Yeah. It's really hard to believe what you see on the internet.
It really is. Yeah.
I mean,
No,
you
you
really
know.
gotta do some due diligence and fact checking and really get to the
Well,
root
there's-
of it, and then go, okay, now I believe the video.
Well, and that brings a whole nother, so we've privatized the utilities, right? So the power utility is a private owned company
And they want to make money.
that is regulated by the California Public Utilities
Right.
Commission, and they want to make money, but at the same token is the ratepayers get a say as to what you get to charge. So you can't just like arbitrarily raise your rates.
Right.
You have to put in for it. You have to justify what your rate increases are for. So the point I'm trying to make is if we had all these power lines underground,
Yes, that's
we
right.
wouldn't have this issue. But then so if we are going to have those lines, we need to make sure that those lines are clear. And that those companies are held accountable for making sure that everything that's
Because they get an easement, so they should be responsible for the easement.
That's right.
Again, but yeah, they saved money by not clearing some of the easements, and that's what's got them into trouble.
But they did come out and admit that, right? Well, they had to because of the AI video someone created.
That's right.
What else we got?
Boy, I don't know. Come on,
Can
I'm
we-
ready for it. I'm ready for it.
Can we have something that doesn't
He's
bash
looking at me.
on the Democrats?
Hold
Hold on. There's nothing actually. There's nothing.
Hawk Tui girl hasn't done anything recently, so.
So this is classic misdirection. I wasn't the distraction, right? Classic distraction right here. Yeah. Oh man. Because that's what going back to the big balls, right? They've got they're making a big deal about these 19-year-old kids with security clearance and wacky internet nicknames.
Mm-hmm.
Really, that's just a distraction from the real issue. Is all this corruption that the kids are finding? You know what I mean?
Well,
it's crazy, man.
I was 17 years old when I went in the Air Force, and I got a top secret security clearance. When I was that
Jesus.
age, so they'll give.
Age is not an issue. Yeah.
My point is, they'll give a top secret to most anybody.
You got anything, Mark? Any?
Super Bowl's coming up. Any
Yeah.
predictions?
Obviously.
He's a huge Eagles fan.
They're all
So-
sick.
so we
they all have crabs or something. I think Kansas City's going to win.
Yeah.
I don't have a dog in the fight. I mean,
they have the flu or something. There's a bunch of
No,
Eagles.
he's
that are
right.
sick.
There's some Eagles that are there's some sort of flu virus. still
Avian
around.
flu?
To be honest with you, there's a lot of conspiracy about the NFL refs and protecting Mahomes and all that stuff. But I really do think it's not good for the NFL to have a team that repeats and repeats and repeats. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
So you have the lowest price of tickets for Super Bowl this year because there's a lot of the Chiefs fans are like, hey, I can't afford to go to Super Bowl 3
Which
years
is
in a row.
kind of a proof of the people who think it's a fixed thing because
Yeah.
it's not beneficial.
No.
So, yeah.
Wait, I heard on my way over here that Super Bowl tickets are like $7,600, something like that.
Well,
That's down though.
That's
down.
It's actually down.
It's down.
Yeah.
Wow.
So who's favorite? I think Eagles.
No, actually, the Chiefs are now favored by like 1.5 points.
So it's
It's
tight as
very
hell.
close.
It's
It's
tight.
very- it's very
Hopefully, it's a good
Over
game.
under is 48.5, and I think it's going to go way over that. The Eagles' defense is very good, but like he said, Jalen Carter came down with the flu yesterday, and he's like their best guy. So hopefully he's good. I'm sure the doctors will get.
They will
him
play.
in.
I mean, they will play. It's whether he's funky or not.
Yeah,
It's
well,
not a play. We
they'll
had
put
a
IVs
we
in
had a
them
guy.
and
Yeah,
pump
shoot 'em up. Yeah.
When I was a kid in England, and we had a kid playing. We had a guy playing for England. He's gonna he won't see this podcast, but if he does, he's gonna hit me bringing it up again. He had the shits basically, right? And he was playing football, right? He was a goal scorer, Gary Lineker.
Yeah.
Gary Lineker is a famous goal scorer for England, right? And he clearly, while he's running, shits himself. Right, and he's on the ground, and he's just like a dog rubbing his fucking rubbing, and he just gets up, and starts running again. You know what I mean? So you can play when you're sick. You know what I mean? Or they used to be able to in those days.
it's the
Men were
release.
men. You know. I mean, you were a white cap in the college football, right?
Yeah.
White cap referee, and
What hasn't he done?
I know he's fucking out, man. He's like all over the place.
I think that Johnny Cash song, I've been everywhere, man.
The
I think it's about you.
Dos Equis guy has nothing over me.
No. The only thing he hasn't done, and he's halfway there, is transition. He's gonna next time you see him, he'll be a woman.
I'm going for some
More meat.
Ragnar's Rebel.
Ragnar's Rebel. Look at that. That
Rebel.
bottle is not
So this-
poured.
15%.
This is
16?
yeah, like
15.
it's your nectar.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, that'll wake you up. It's no water, just blueberry juice and blueberry cider, or blueberry.
Oh my God! A
Interested
glass
in
of
these
this, I
meats?
could almost support Trump. This is really
Give him another glass! Give him another glass! We're
Really
gonna
good.
flip Pete,
That's
then we're
good.
gonna flip California.
I have to admit that's pretty darn good
One
stuff.
Pete at a time.
And Brian's got to learn
So,
English.
so,
Yeah, we're gonna teach Brian English.
so this guy has a license to ship his mead anywhere in
Yeah.
the country, any state.
Yep.
So if you want to try some of this,
Well, there's 4 states I can ship to.
4 states.
Yeah. This blueberry.
Well, that's
Oh
pretty
my
good.
God.
What other 4 states you can't ship to? Well, Utah, I bet.
Utah, Connecticut, New Hampshire, and Vermont.
Only the states you can have multiple wives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some
I'll
reason.
tell you what, if I had 2 wives, I would really need this stuff. You know? But anyway, it's some of
This-
the best stuff you'll taste. If you like
This
meats,
is amazing.
and this one, what we're drinking right now, is no water added at all. The only liquid that goes into this is the juice from the blueberries.
Yes.
It is
Tons and
it is
tons of
amazing.
blueberries.
It is.
Because you imagine making a beer or a wine or a mead in this case without the base ingredient is water. Do it without water. How much more expensive is this over your regular meats? It's going to be a little bit more
Yeah, it's a
expensive.
little more.
Yeah, that's good.
Isn't that good?
It's about $30 for $7.50 a mile on it.
Grab it, man. Small
Right.
batch brewery or meadery. Get some while you can, man. It's good stuff.
Don't say grab it when your hands are below the table.
While I'm talking, I'm still thinking about Karoline Leavitt, dude. I don't even like blondes, you know what I mean?
Oh, jeez.
No, but
I think we've.
are we done? Have we finished?
I think we've hit the bottom. It's only going to get really bad from here.
The conversation went shitty a few minutes ago.
Oh, yeah, it went shitty. Yeah.
Yeah, it went south in a hurry.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, please share it with your friends. Help us grow. We're trying to get our word out there. And as always,
Thumbs up.
have a good drink in your hand. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Sabre Springs Meadery.
Yeah.